In this episode, we talk to a digital marketing pioneer and expert about a tool that is better, has been the best since Twitter. And I'm excited to bring our dear friend and colleague in this episode to chat with you. And I can't wait for you to meet him. And let's just get started. Hey, Alex, welcome. Thank you for joining the show. I really appreciate it. It's so good to have you here, brother. How are you and how is everything going?
I'm doing great, Ricardo. It's really nice to see you and thank you for having me on this show.
Awesome, man. We're excited to have you. And I know our listeners are going to be like really thrilled to just enjoy this recording. Well, why don't we get started by telling us who you are and what you do?
Okay, that's, I guess, could be a long story. Let me see if I can make it shorter.
Yeah.
I always like to start by saying I am half Brazilian and half from Finland. I was born in Paris. My dad was a diplomat, and I am a Finnish citizen. I am currently serving as the honorary consul of Finland in South Florida.
Sweet.
But my career has been in digital marketing over the past, I would say, 20 years. It started in 1998 when I co-founded an email marketing company in Europe, the first one in Europe. At the same time as Constant Contact was founded here, we founded one in Europe called Smart Focus, which still exists. So I really got started in digital marketing with email marketing, and then went on to different fields within digital after that.
Nice, good, awesome. And so you were around when Constant Contact and these other guys are coming on the scene. You were actually creating too. That's beautiful. Tell us a little about how you got to this point, because I know you're doing some really awesome things, and that's also kind of like how we met too. But talk to us about how you got to this point, maybe from a marketing perspective, because you've been in digital marketing for quite some time, and what really sort of led you to stick with this particular space and how you got here.
And so we have a new person on Clubhouse that joined us, and we can't close the room on Clubhouse because Clubhouse's servers are acting up. But just so the person knows that we are recording a podcast here on Zoom, and we try to do both Zoom and Clubhouse.
Yeah, and that's right. That's absolutely right. We were actually just starting a Clubhouse at the same time, guys, and we did get a snag. Clubhouse server just could not handle us, and so we can't close the room, and we've just kind of have to just winging it. So it's kind of funny how this is all happening, but sure, just let them know that we're recording, and they can definitely check this podcast out too.
Absolutely. So the feed is coming in through my my avatar on Clubhouse, because otherwise there's an echo when you unmute yourself. But anyway, so I got started in advertising right after business school from University of Miami. I got started in advertising. I actually went to the army in Finland first, and when I came back, I wanted to work in banking, but it was a bad time for banking, so I went into advertising instead. And then I got my MBA. And I did my MBA in 1994 at INSEAD, a school in France. And 1994 is the year when Netscape started, kind of like Yahoo started. And I was doing my MBA, and I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. But, you know, instead of going into the internet in 1994, 95, when I graduated, I went into management consulting for, number of years. But in 98, I then left the consulting world, and I started an email marketing company. And really what interested in me was there's a book called Permission Marketing by Seth Godin. And this changed my world, because advertising seemed to me like such a lie. Everything is photoshopped. Everything is a lie in advertising.
Yeah.
And permission marketing was the opposite. Permission marketing is really about being authentic and asking, if people want to receive information, they'll opt in. And when they don't, they'll opt out. So Seth Godin really was talking about the future of marketing very early on. And the first kind of result of his book were these email marketing companies that were founded right after the book was published.
Nice. And I love Seth Godin too. I actually read that book as well. Really phenomenal book. And any listeners, by the way, if you've got a contact for Seth, we'd love to have him on the show too. So feel free to ping me or reach out. We'd love to have Seth on the show. But yeah, that book is really awesome, Alex, and it's kind of like setting the pace for the conversation we're about to have now, which is Clubhouse, right? Talking with you earlier, we were just kind of like talking how you mentioned how Clubhouse is kind of like the best thing since Twitter. It's kind of off the backs of what we used to say, the best thing since sliced bread, right? But Clubhouse is now the best thing since Twitter. And I wanted to kind of talk to you about that because our listeners are non-tech savvy and they're looking for tools to help them to grow their business and to also do it really quickly. So talk to us about this tool, Clubhouse, for those who are not yet familiar with Clubhouse, don't know what it is, what we're talking about. Tell us what Clubhouse is, and talk to us a little more about it.
Well, Twitter came out 12 years ago, and it was revolutionary when it came
Yeah,
out. Because
absolutely.
with just your phone and your text messaging, you could broadcast to the world, and this was never seen before. And sure, there was like Friendster existed and these social networks, but Twitter really changed the game, I believe, and changed the game for me. Twitter changed my own life. And this is the first time since Twitter that I see the same level of innovation. I know there's been a bunch of stuff in between. There's been, Snapchat and Instagram and TikTok and stuff. But for me, none of those have this same type of innovation that Clubhouse does. And already Clubhouse in a few months is already valued at over $1 billion. And there are many now copycats of Clubhouse. So this is
Wow.
really changing the game. And Clubhouse also allows anyone to have a radio station. You can either participate in shows, and there are thousands of different kinds of shows on every single topic imaginable going on, or you can start your own room, just like you can start your own Twitter account and start broadcasting to the world. You can start your own room on any topic you would like, invite some friends and start talking and kind of become your own podcast host or your own radio host, your own radio show or station.
That's amazing, and that's really the power of technology. And it's funny how Clubhouse is already valued at so much within just a few months of launching. So just to give us just to set that background, like, and you said it's essentially sort of that democratizing the ability to own your own radio station and kind of start your own room and build your own community. Was there anything that existed before that you knew about, like that you used to use as an alternative?
I mean, prior to Clubhouse, it was podcasts, so you could start your own podcast.
Yeah.
That is innovative. Or you could start your YouTube channel. There were these live things you can do on Facebook and on Instagram, but it's not quite the same as what is happening right now on Clubhouse, which is audio only. And I think that has its own advantages, that it's audio only, that it does not include video. It just makes it more convenient and easy to use in many ways. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, people
that's
people
awesome.
yeah, people are listening to audio, when they're doing their workouts, when they're cooking, when they're driving around, and you don't need video, and also you don't need to fancy yourself up for video. Women don't need to put makeup on. You don't need to put your good shirt on. You can just listen and talk on audio, and no one knows what you look like.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's funny because we were talking about this with some colleagues of mine. We're like, you remember in school, like there was this one way to learn, and it was just to one teacher and a chalkboard, and you have to learn that way. Like she didn't care if you were into videos or you were into audio or you're more into text. You just had to learn this way. And today, as we advance technology, like there are different ways to appreciate that kind of learning because not everyone is into video, right? And not everyone is into writing either, and not everyone is into audio. So now you have the options that you can actually be who you want to be. And I think that's really, really cool how we've gotten to that stage. And regardless of your learning style or your expression style, if you may, you've got a tool out there that you can use. So now, listeners, there's no excuse. Like if you were avoiding Twitter because you weren't into that quick tweet, or if you were avoiding YouTube because you didn't like to go on video, or you were avoiding any kind of video promotion or platform, now you have Clubhouse. You can actually do it without anyone seeing you at all. You can speak. So you have the option. And we're about finding tools to help you to grow. And I think Clubhouse is really was really phenomenal. Alex, so tell us a little about you're a master user of Clubhouse, and you've been essentially you would be labeled as one of those early users. Who is Clubhouse for? Can anyone set up a Clubhouse? Would you recommend it for any small business owner who is kind of trying to find an opportunity to grow?
So let's qualify things a bit. I would not say I'm a master user of Clubhouse. I think the whole
Well, you
world
know more than us, so that's what we mean.
whole world is learning about Clubhouse. It's only
Yeah,
really a few months old. I mean, it's a year old, but it was in like this private beta for a long time, and really only became public like around October, November last year. I joined in towards the end of November, so I'm within the first 100,000 users.
yeah.
Now Clubhouse, I think, is over 10 or 15 million.
Oh,
Uh,
you're a master user.
no, no, no. I'm an early adopter. Doesn't mean I'm a master user.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, there are many things to figure out about Clubhouse, and I've enjoyed researching and figuring it out and listening to other people use and see how they're using and creating on Clubhouse.
Yeah, and so who do you think it's for? Is it for any small business owner who is looking for opportunity to do more marketing or to connect to a group of people? Would you recommend this to them?
Clubhouse is absolutely for everybody, and it's the most powerful branding platform out there today. No doubt about it. There's people who have already grown to 1 million users, people who don't have 1 million followers on Instagram or Twitter or anywhere else. they do they have built that up inside Clubhouse. So people who were, I guess, relatively unknown on other social media
Yeah.
have done it inside Clubhouse. So it's an incredibly powerful branding platform. And Clubhouse is very business friendly. And when you look at the bios of people, people are not shy. They're really touting themselves and their accomplishments and what they do and the services they provide, and so it really allows you to brand yourself really well and also really very authentically, because it's your voice and it's the things you talk about and it's how you say things, and so it's very, very authentic. It's in the moment, live, authentic, and really good for branding.
I love it. I love it. And and so let's go back a little bit and talk about some of the things that you can actually do with this tool, Clubhouse. I know you mentioned earlier that was you could set up your own radio station, but what are some of the other things you could do with Clubhouse?
Well, one of the more important things is not even to set up your own stuff, but to participate in other rooms. There are some rooms that have thousands of listeners and participants. And if you go in there, you raise your hand, they bring you up on stage, and you ask questions or you make good comments, people start following you. And that's really the way to build your brand and grow your following, is to participate in pre-existing rooms. There's rooms on all kinds of topics. For example, there are rooms on the stock market with traders, financial people, crypto people, talking about that all day long. And if you're interested and you have something to say, then just get up there, start talking about what you know about, and you'll get followers and you'll build your own community.
Great, and that's it's so powerful what you just said, because a lot of times as small business owners we feel like we have to go ahead and create and start something, and we can also be a part of something that already exists. And this is about participating in a community and demonstrating your level of expertise and your knowledge, because that's also going to draw attention to you, right? And people are going to be like, oh wow, like I want to know who this person is, because like you know so much about your space that others might not necessarily know about. And Clubhouse give you an opportunity to not just create rooms, but also participate in existing rooms and conversation that's happening across any different subject matters, which is really, really cool. I really love that. Um, and so you were one of the early adopters for Clubhouse, and folks who are listening and interested in Clubhouse, like what is it that they should do to then kind of like get started with Clubhouse? So is Clubhouse free? Is it free? What do you have to pay to get there? Like, what is it? Do you download it just on your iPhone? Like, talk to us about what you know about that.
Yeah, so right now Clubhouse is for the iPhone only, iPhone and iPad. So if you have an Android or something, it's worth getting an older iPhone just to get Clubhouse. If you're into
Yeah,
marketing and
yeah,
you don't want to wait months. You want to get on it right now. If you're interested, if this is something for you, then try to get an iPhone and try to get this app. And you can download the app and sync it with your contacts. And if you have an existing contact who's already using Clubhouse, they will let you in. Otherwise, you need to get an invite from someone to let you in. Now, it is free, but you do need to be invited or let in by someone who's already inside Clubhouse. It shouldn't be a big problem for most people. Once you're in Clubhouse, it's important to put your photo, up. Not your logo, but your photo. Some people have their logos, but it's better to put your photo up so people can see who you are. And then to create a bio. A lot of people have nothing in their bio. Unless you're really famous, um, there are some very famous people inside Clubhouse.
yeah.
Elon Musk appears regularly, Joe Rogan. So some people who are instantly recognizable. So they don't need bios, but most of the rest of the world does need a bio. So it's important to put that bio, but also in that bio, uh, tell us who you are and what you do and what services you provide and what you're into so that people know what to talk with you about. So it shouldn't just only be professional. You should also say, some extracurricular things you do. Like, if you're a dog lover, then put that in there as well. So people know what to talk with you about. And then also to add your Twitter or your Instagram or both links, because that's how people can actually get in touch with you by direct messaging you on. There's no direct messaging inside Clubhouse. So they will direct message you through Instagram or through Twitter if they want to get in touch with you.
This podcast is sponsored by Mysotask, the most intuitive task manager on the web. Mysotask is an easy-to-use project management tool, makes it easy and fun and colorful to get all your projects managed in one place. As an entrepreneur, I use Mysotask to help me manage all of my projects. I can drag and drop different tasks. I can assign key people to the task. I can set deadlines and schedules and enjoy just beautiful colors while I do that. So if you are interested in trying Mysotask, go to mystertask.com/DMT tools. That's MEISTERTASK.com/DMT tools, and you can sign up for a free trial when you upgrade to the Pro plan. So get started for free today and invite your team members and get productive together. And that's an important point. Like the bio is this one thing that you can definitely do for your own Clubhouse when you get started. Like focus on just creating a really good bio, because that's where people really look at when they click on your Clubhouse or your icon. Your profile is what comes up, and they can actually see all of your information. And as much as you can put there, but make it interesting, because it's not just about business, right? It's also about the other things that your life revolves around, and people know, like you said, like how to have a conversation with you, because the bio is kind of like guiding them. But you mentioned Twitter and Instagram, which is interesting, because then I was going to ask you, can we integrate the Clubhouse with other tools? And you actually answered that question. But are there any other tools though that Clubhouse can be integrated with? Because you mentioned Instagram and Twitter as it's an important links to have in your bio so that people can really connect with you. But are there any other tools that could be integrated with Clubhouse so far?
Well, yeah. So Twitter and Instagram are the only ones right now that you can link to inside your bio. Who knows in the future if they'll allow you to put your LinkedIn and Facebook, whatever. But right now it's only those two. Those two give more context about you. You know, if I want to know more about who you are, I'll go and check out your Instagram and see your photos just to get more context about who you are. And one mistake people make when they get on Clubhouse is that they only add their friends. So, you know, you're like, okay, I have 5 friends on Clubhouse. I will only add those. That's not how Clubhouse works. In fact, it's better to add people that you find interesting. So if you're in a room and you see like the moderators running these incredible rooms, add them as friends, you know, follow them, follow whoever you think is interesting on Clubhouse, because that opens up the horizon of Clubhouse. So you're going to see a lot more rooms, interesting rooms for you based on who you're following. If you're only following your 5 friends and none of your friends are running rooms, then Clubhouse is not really going to be very interesting to you. But if you start following, you know, interesting people on Clubhouse, you'll be notified anytime that they are running their rooms. And that's when Clubhouse becomes really, I think, even addictive in a way.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
stuff.
but you know, in regarding tools, the other types of tools for Clubhouse, and this gets a little bit more advanced, but would be tools for like improving your voice quality inside Clubhouse. So instead of speaking to your iPhone's microphone,
Mm,
you would actually have an external microphone that you speak into that plugs into your iPhone. So that would be one way of improving. And then also, now Clubhouse does not allow recording unless you make it really explicit that you are recording people who are up on stage. So whoever comes up to ask a question, you have to let them know this room is being recorded. Are you okay with that? Um, but if you do want to record, then you would also use an external tool, for example, like a audio mixer, like a Rodecaster Pro, that will take the input of your iPhone and record whatever's happening inside there.
nice, good information. That's really great. Um, so and I know you've been in digital marketing for all these years, and I'm sure there you have those roller coaster moment. And I was always kind of interesting in sort of understanding, like, how have you done it? How have you done it, and what would you say was the best thing that happened during this entire period or career, if you may, that you've had so far?
I mean, digital marketing has been amazing because of all the innovation that happens, all the new things, and the fact that it's changing all the time. All these platforms are changing all the time. So there's always something new to learn in digital marketing. It's a continuous learning curve that never ever stops. And then you have apps like Clubhouse that pop up out of nowhere, and you're like, oh my God, there's all this new stuff to
Yeah.
learn now, and a new place to be and to build up your, you know, your base, your community inside. So I think that's been most interesting for me, is to be an industry that is so fast changing and developing, and where there's always something new like that. Um, and I think, you know, that's really what's given me opportunities throughout my career, is to be able to learn, to be interested in these apps and tools, and to learn them and then to apply them in new ways, on my jobs.
Nice, absolutely. Alex, so is there anything that I didn't ask you that you'd like to share with us?
Oh, I don't know. I think this has been great, Ricardo. Thank you for having me on the show, and yeah, it's a good discussion.
Well, I have one last question. Since I'm thinking about anything else that I should have asked you, what book are you reading now? Like, what book are you reading? I want to know what podcast you're listening to. What clubhouse room are you in? So there are three things, starting with the book.
Okay. So let's see. I'm into Carl Jung and his later works, which were published posthumously. So he had the Red Book, which was published in 2009, about 60 years after he passed away. And
Hmm.
then in October of last year, the Black Books were published. And this is a series of 7 books. And in the
Wow.
Black Books, but also in the Red Book, Carl Jung was writing down his dreams. He was painting his dreams, and then he was analyzing his dreams, and he came up with all his very profound concepts of archetypes and the self and the persona and the anima and the animus and all these different very
Hmm.
important concepts are where the genesis of it all is in the red book and the black book. So that's kind of what I'm making myself,
So it's
going
actually called the Red Book or the Black Book. It's
called the
actually
red
called the
book
Red
and then it's called the black books. Yeah.
Book. That's pretty cool. Nice. That sounds very interesting. And then what podcast are you listening to?
Oh, so I listen to a couple of different podcasts. I like a Rich Roll podcast. Now, Rich Roll is a middle-aged vegan super athlete. Pretty amazing his transformation in his 40s. How he
Mhm.
went from an overweight guy to one of the fittest people in the world, and stopped his corporate job to become an advocate for his lifestyle, which is amazing. So Rich Roll is fantastic, and he's got really good long podcasts, and he's a kind of soulful person. It's really nice to listen to. And also, I like Tim Ferriss. I find Tim Ferriss, he's always trying out new things. He's got great, intelligent podcasts, always great people on. And I like Joe Rogan, because sometimes he's got amazing guests, and
Right.
he's a good conversationalist.
Nice, nice. So Tim Ferriss, Rich Rule, Joe Rogan, that's your podcast jam.
That's right. That's right.
Nice, nice. And then lastly, like what Clubhouse room are you in? Like usually when you go to club when you're on Clubhouse, what rooms are you normally in?
When I'm not running my own rooms, I'm on these stock market rooms, which I find fascinating, because you have actual Wall Street traders on there, you have options traders, you have cryptocurrency people on there talking about the stock markets all day long, giving tips, explaining different techniques. And what to me is amazing about that is the authenticity, because they're there day in and day out. And a lot of these people are day traders. And so as they're doing their day trades, they are there in the room, and they're going to show up tomorrow and a week and a month from now.
Wow.
So when they make stupid trades, they own up to it. And they're like, hey, I talked about this, but sometimes they hit it out of the ballpark. And they're like, if you were listening, you would have seen my trade and you would have benefited just like I did. And so I
Nice.
think I've never seen that before anywhere else. And even when you see it somewhere else, you're like, can I really trust this information? But on Clubhouse, I feel like you can trust it, because these people are there day in and day out, and you can go up on stage and you can ask questions. And it's a new form of education, I think.
Nice. Awesome. Love it. So if any one of our listeners want to kind of reach out, do you have your website or somewhere that folks can connect with you? Obviously on Clubhouse, they can follow you up there. Anywhere else that you'd like to share with us for listeners?
Yeah, the best place to connect with me is just to search for Alex DC. And I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Instagram is Alex_DC. But if you just Google my name, you'll find me. And my company is Bowman Blue. So Bowman, BOWMAN.BLUE. So either one of those ways is a good way to find me.
Awesome. Hey man, Alex, I really, really appreciate your time jumping in and chatting with us today. Thank you so much. Definitely gonna be following you. It's not gonna be the last time. So hopefully you'll be able to come back and talk to us about some of the newer stuff that you're doing and what you're up to. So, but it's good to see you and it's good to have you on. Appreciate it.
Great to see you, Ricardo. Congrats on your podcast. Thank you so much for inviting me.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Bet. Bye. That was Alex de Carvalho, the digital marketing expert and pioneer. And we talked about Clubhouse, and I really hope you enjoyed that show. If you're not on Clubhouse yet, you got to get on Clubhouse. And I'm really, really excited for what's to come with an opportunity like this application. So, folks, I hope you have gotten a lot from this session, like I did, and we hope to talk to you soon in the next episode. And until then, find a tool to control the way you grow.